Zenshu Episode 8 is confirming to me that it is going to go down as one of the most unique isekai in the past decade. There is so much to break down about why someone being transported into their favorite anime film is just a fun idea to begin with. But then when you add in the concepts of the director of said film seemingly also was brought into it, they properly talk with her and she's not too happy that a fan is kind of rewriting her designs. But then when you look at the end of the episode, and Natsuko actually says something like, hey, that's my design. Like the animation, the laser eyes that were going off, apparently that's her work. Has me almost wondering if we're getting into fanfic territory. Because if the director's not happy with the film not going the way it's supposed to, which is a very despaired negative ending, and it's becoming a much more happier place, it almost feels like the difference of fanfic versus original and the tug of war of which one's going to be on top by the end. You progress the love story of Luke and her. We got the squee, damn it. That means she is properly in love. I still expect a dark ending to some degree. I mean, if she's gonna go back home, someone ain't gonna make it. It's probably gonna be her because she'll need to go back home. But either way, I am very impressed. You have last week's backstory episode, which was completely unique and something you don't see in anime really ever. And then you have an episode like this that they were butt-ass naked, man. He ran out there in a goddamn towel ready to throw hands. This is brilliant. Of course, if you want to support my work, see my full thoughts on these amazing Zenshu episodes. We got the Patreon, full live reactions available exclusively over there if you're so interested. So, I thought they were going to blue balls us because they ended the episode, but it's not the first time the birds popped up, right? So it's like, it flew away. And then it's kind of comedic, she keeps like, damn it, I want to see this thing, because it just keeps popping up and talking shit. And ultimately, we end up capturing it. And it's interesting because immediately we go from, this bird's a little shit disturber, to, I'm your biggest fan, sign this autograph for me, I now have a family heirloom. Hilarious, because the movie really wasn't that wildly loved, so your family heirloom is something that only you are ever going to like, so that's kind of fantastic. It's interesting, because now we have a proper confirmation that the director ain't happy with this. And you would have to wonder, why does Natsuko, of all characters, have the ability to change the director's world? Now, she mentions about how, her little magical item that she uses to animate, like she tried to break that because she wasn't happy with her doing things. It seems like she's fully in control because she's actually attempting to change things, where this director just kind of flies around and lets it be. It almost, to me, in a weird way, feels like it's a tug of war of the old versus new mindset when it comes to how to make things. I mean, you can honestly look at it. 80s and 90s anime were often a lot more dark and gritty than a lot of 2000 onward stuff. But then you add it in with a fan mindset, she's been loving these characters and having theories and ideas and drawing different things that she never got to see in the original film. And then you hear how this director's talking about how we have a runtime. You keep extending the length of the movie. It's you can't do that because one, it won't get finished on time. Two, how are you going to run a 6-hour movie in theaters? It's financially impossible to make this work, where she's just, this is reality. It's super interesting, and that's why I almost feel like we're kind of in like a fanfic territory. The whole time I've been thinking about how, because the film is lasting past where it would normally end, it's more sequel territory, or, OVA, or anime original, whatever, but no, it feels more fanfic than it does actual film. I still think we will get a bad ending by the end of it, and I think it will be her death, not Luke's. The final shot, or one of the final shots that's supposed to happen, is him holding the girl, right, and then it's like, everything's burning. We're probably going to recreate that shot, but it will be Natsuko. And she'll go to the light. She'll end up waking back up. Poison didn't actually kill her. They made her cough it up, whatever it is. But I don't think that's going to be bad, because I think ultimately the world's probably going to be in a state that's a lot more peaceful because Natsuko ultimately helped it get there. And while she's probably going to sacrifice herself or get fatally wounded, the love story is happening between Luke and her. And when she ultimately most likely wakes up, while it will be a bittersweet ending, it's crystal clear that she's finally found love. We're probably going to end up having the debate, was it all a dream? Did this actually happen? But I'm sure they'll give us a little bit to show us that it probably was actually, happening. But at the end of the day, whether or not they're gonna go it's all a dream, or it was an isekai world where Truck-kun reversed and let her come back via CPR, I don't know. Either way, though, this show has really impressed. When it came to the date, so Luke, he announces that he loves her. Says it like 20 times. Luke's a bit of a 8-year-old boy, and we're dealing with a girl who's emotionally unavailable. So it's pretty hilarious to see him be like, every time, I love you. I love it. Reminds me of that scene, if anyone's ever seen Elf, you know, when he finds his dad and he just keeps saying, I love you. It's kind of the energy he gave off. But we take her on a date to the hot springs. What better than a first date than seeing each other naked? Respect to our boy. It's kind of funny too, because he hears a noise, sword drawn. For us, a leaf was covering his junk. She saw it. I have to imagine she's probably envisioned what it would look like all that time, so she probably enjoyed that. And I appreciate how, you know, I thought she was just going to shoot him down initially, but instead she was dumbfounded. At one point in the episode, her brain's so fried, she's like, ring, 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 I gotta go to the dub session. What do you mean? No more filler episodes? And I'm like, what happened to her? So the fact that it took her until the end of that fight for her to properly be like, squee, which was the big thing in the previous episode with the flashback, right? I thought she was just going to draw a shield. She drew a Gundam, and I like how the Gundam ultimately, because the big thing is the last time she drew the stairs to support. So she's no longer doing everything by herself. She's actually supporting. And the way they handled a Gundam being a support as Love fueled his sword in the most beautiful way to slice that bitch down, I thought was absolutely fantastic. I mean this with my full chest. 100%. This is a 10 out of 10 isekai for me. It is fantastic, it's unique, and it's crazy that this is an anime original. Like, I love anime original stuff, but often I feel like anime original stuff have less of a coherent plot, long-term vision. But Mappa cooked with this one. It feels like something that, you know, they had 30 chapters that they looked at, they figured out exactly how to condense, but you know, props to the scriptwriter for this one, because they really, really cooked. And while I do expect that we are going to see Luke holding her dying body before the show's over, I do think we're going to have a legitimately fun love story as we have a tug of war of, does fanfic win in the end, or does the director? But I think it'll be more of a middle ground. But hopefully that director ain't going to be too much of a cranky bitch, because if so, the world going to be real negative when Natsuko ain't more around. You let me know your thoughts and feelings down below. What did you think of the episode, theories if you got any, and how do you think the show's going to wrap up? Be sure to leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new around here, of course ring that bell, and like I mentioned, we got those full live reactions over on Patreon, and hey, while you're over there, I'll also give you a video shout out. Alright, so today we got Jessica L. Compton, Ishta, Eternally Lost, Mauve, Jarl Balgruff, Omar, Jay Vorty, and we also have Daniel Costil. So I appreciate the support, everyone. Please take care. Y'all have a good one.